You know, research shows us that we tell lies every day, and those lies can hold us back. So here with help from his new book, Stop Lying, we welcome author and psychologist Dr. Bennett Pology. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
So first of all, we do lie a lot, don't we? Just in general.
Let me be clear about something.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about conscious lies.
Right.
I'm not talking about those things our mother said don't do. I'm talking about lies we're not aware of.
For instance?
For instance. Well, the classic one is the kid who says, I ain't scared.
Right.
And that can grow into a personality that's completely derailed. And the quickest example I can give of that is Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
Everybody saw that movie,
right.
so it's a good example.
Yeah.
There's a kid who's angry and bitter, and he's living this depressed, constricted life, and he's not availing himself of anything that's open to him. He's got this pretty girl that likes him. He's a super genius, if you remember the film.
Right.
And he's living in the house he grew up in. He hasn't fixed it up. It's dark. It's depressing. He doesn't talk to anybody because he's been telling this lie to himself since he was a little kid, which he originally told to survive, which is, I ain't scared.
Yeah, I ain't scared.
And I know my father's a jerk. And he doesn't know that. If you remember the big epiphany scene at the end, when the therapist gets in his face and says, that abuse that happened to you, it wasn't your fault. And he keeps saying that because the kid goes, oh yeah, I know. But he doesn't know. That's why he breaks down and sobs.
He doesn't believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
The lie is that he thinks his father's a jerk.
Right.
He doesn't think that. He thinks his father was right to beat him up.
Oh, wow.
So when he realizes that, that's when his life gets unstuck. That's when he moves on. That's when he quits that little job he has and goes and pursues a life.
Right.
Because
he's freed from that. He's free from that. Are there some lies that are okay to tell?
You know, I get asked that a lot. Unconscious lies, we're talking about. I get asked that a lot. I've thought about it a lot, and I've decided the answer is no. It really is never of any use to lie to yourself unconsciously, and therefore to be lying to other people, especially close people. The only exception is, again, children. And again, think about that movie. A child in that kind of a situation can't tolerate what's happening to him. He would go crazy, literally insane, with despair or rage or something. He wouldn't be able to function. So in order to function, we develop these unconscious lies, like, I'm not scared of this. This doesn't hurt. I can handle it. Children, you see, do this. For example, a little kid whose parents are separating or divorcing will sometimes develop the fantasy, I can control this. If I become the perfect kid, my parents will get back together.
Right. A lot of kids believe that.
Yeah. Or if I become a rotten kid. It's a little more buried, but you see that too. If I become a terrible kid and I get in all kinds of trouble, that'll bring the family back together. It's a lie to oneself that one can control this horrible, horrific, chaotic situation to a little child. Parents separating, fighting, arguing, mad at each other. It's very scary. Are
there some lies that we tell ourselves as adults?
Tons.
That you see?
Tons.
Yeah, tell me about some of those.
Oh, gosh. Well,
I mean, outside of the lie of how much I weigh on my driver's license, I'm good with that lie.
No, that's conscious.
That's conscious. So that's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Again, very important. We're talking about lies you're not aware of. And, oh boy, it's hard to talk about this in the abstract, but here's a quick one.
Okay.
And there's cases in the, by the way, the book's full of case examples, so you can read, in fact, in the first 15 pages, which you can read free on Amazon, there's many examples. So, having said that, the quickest one is the one couples get into, especially early on, which is, and again, this is all unconscious, so it may sound odd when I say it out loud, but it's very common, which is you're supposed to fix everything that's deeply uncertain in my life, that's deeply wrong with me.
Right.
And when I get into a relationship and I'm still occasionally lonely or uncertain or awkward or nervous and I have pimples and all those, you're supposed to get rid of that. And then the person gets furious with their partner and they stop seeing the other person as separate. They actually see the person only exists as a reflection of what I need.
Oh, wow.
And then you get that tremendous rage and constant bickering and constant controlling, or worse, you get stalking, or worse. All these crazy things that happen in relationships, they all fix. I really want to emphasize this. When you uncover the lie, when you detect it and ferret it out, the problems go away. It's the one magic thing that happens in psychotherapy. The rest of psychotherapy is work, and it's slow, and it's slogging along. It's not comfortable.
Is it hard for people to change their way of thinking? Because if you said it's unconscious, it's probably hard for people to even get at the root of it.
Good point. Sometimes it can take years. In Good Will Hunting, that's telescoped because it's a movie. It takes longer than that. But, and there are examples of this in the book, you don't have to go to a therapist sometimes. There's a case in the book of a woman I know who was about 40 years old, was on a date in a bar. And a very common thing that happens to people, here's a lie.
Okay.
The more nervous they are, the more they want the date to go well, the more they do things to push the other person away.
Oh, yeah.
The more off-putting they... Fortunately for this woman, she was with somebody, they were both artists, so they were comfortable talking about feelings and things like that. And this guy said something like, why are you doing that? Or what are you doing? And instead of getting defensive, as most of us would on a date,
He saw it.
he saw it, but
Right.
instead of getting defensive, as most people do, she was able to say, gee, why am I doing that? That's rude. That's odd.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude. And as soon as she did that, just like in Good Will Hunting, the truth flooded in. And she realized, oh, I know what I'm really feeling, just like the kid in Good Will Hunting.
Right.
What I'm really feeling is very scared. I really like this guy. I'm 40 years old. It hasn't worked yet. I really want this to work. So she realized what she was doing. She stopped doing it, of course. As soon as you realize it, you don't
Right.
do it. And the two of them had a very successful one-year relationship, which is quite a good run.
Yeah. God, doctor, this is fascinating. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. I want to tell folks again, the book is called Stop Lying.
Can I give the full title?
Sure.
It's Stop. If you put in Stop Lying in Amazon, you'll get 1,000 titles.
Okay.
So you have to say Stop Lying, Getting Unlost and Unstuck in Your Life.
There we go.